Part 2. So we're going to start off with your early life.
Oh,
Okay. I had my first kiss in 9th grade, and it was a bit weird. How did your first kiss go?
Oh, God. I remember turning 16, and my mother, sweet 16, had never been kissed. And it was a saying that was around, and she pointed it out that was me. And I'd never been kissed when I was 16. So, yeah. Is that what the question was?
It was like, when did you have it, and who was it with?
Oh,
and how was it? How'd it go?
God, I don't know. I know I was older than 16. So, and it was Eric Thompson, I think. Yeah, and he was. I think it was when I went to a dance, like a toll or something like that. But yeah, it wasn't real. I wasn't real impressed with it. So.
Did you like him at the time?
Yeah, I liked him. Yeah, he was. We ended up getting married, actually.
You were married before?
Yes, I was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was. I was married. I started going out with Eric, or dating, or he lived in Kent. He lived here, and I lived in Whatcom County, and he went to Kent Meridian, and he went up there and picked berries, and he came to our farm and picked berries in our raspberry patch, and that's how I met him. So, anyway.
So, you were at the dance when it happened, right?
I don't remember. I don't really remember. I kind of remember just going like, that was not that impressive, but maybe I just wasn't real good at it at that time. Yeah.
Were you guys dating at the time, or did you guys
Yeah,
just
we
like
were
each
dating.
other?
Yeah, we'd been dating for a long time and wrote letters and stuff for several years before we kissed. So, yeah.
Okay, second thing about your past life. Okay. One of my scariest moments was not too long ago when we were going to pick up my dad from Oregon-ish, kind of, and we almost got in a car crash when I was with my brothers. And so, if you had to choose one scariest event when you were younger, what would it be?
Scariest event?
Yes.
When I was young.
Like from like birth to like age 18.
I can't remember a lot of scary events.
Just like one thing that popped out. It doesn't like.
I remember one time, I was down. We lived on I grew up on a farm up in Whatcom County, and we lived on the Nooksack River, and so we would go. We taught ourselves how to swim, and we'd swim in. The main river would go by, which you didn't swim in the main river, but you'd go into the little side ponds or streams. And my sister was swimming, and she was not doing well. She was, and I remember saving her. So that was when you mentioned a scary thing, that's kind of the one thing I remember. It wasn't me that was could have been. She could have been gone. So.
Did she go into the big part of the river?
No, we were we had this one place that we always went swimming, and it was just kind of a muddy little pond, but the bad things about rivers are worse than lakes. Is in a lake, you walk out and it's fine. In a river, you walk out, and then bang, there's nothing, because the current takes and so it's very dangerous. And she just walked out and just went, and she was, and you can very easily drown. So.
How old was she at the time?
She was probably about 7 or 8, and we always went swimming, and we always had to go with each other. We couldn't go swimming down there alone. So it was a good. There were good reasons for that. Yeah.
How old were you?
I was about, let's see, about 11 or so. Yeah. So.
Well, that's a good thing you were there.
Yeah, yeah, and we taught ourselves how to swim, and you know, we all just taught ourselves to swim with the head up, and then find out that, oh no, you're supposed to swim, and so I just can't do that, and I tried to do triathlons and tried doing, but I had to learn to swim in order to do a triathlon, and so I was trying to work it out, and man, I ended up having this heart attack. Not a real heart attack, but my heart, I just ended up going to the hospital, and the doctor told me not to swim competitively, and I just loved it. You know?
That's against the rules.
It was really good, yeah. So I'm still alive today, you know, probably because of that, because I didn't swim.
Were there any other incidents of anyone almost drowning in the lake?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you know, the thing, it was different then. I mean, when we went to the river, you know, we went down there, but we didn't go in the main river, and people didn't go down the main river. I did when I was a senior with a friend, and we were going to go from there down to all the way, you know, out to the Sound, the Lummi Indian Reservation, and but we went just a little short distance, and then we turned a corner, and then there was this great big log jam, and the river just pulled us right into it, and we had a rowboat that had one oar, and we were trying to get away, and we went right into the log jam, and that we were taken right up and dumped, and then water came into our rowboat, and we were but then it shoved us out to the side, what could have happened is, and what happens is you go in there, and then you go right under, and there's nothing you can do. You cannot. So we were lucky to live through it, and so it's a very the river. It's a very the Nooksack is a really very it's not a real long river like the Skagit River. It's short, but it goes fast. And my parents moved to the farm where I grew up, and when they moved, my father had grown up there, and then they came. My mother and father took over the farm from his parents, and they'd been there for 2 years, and then there was a flood, and it took out 50 acres, and they had a barn that was it was a dairy farm, but the river came right under it, and it went right under the barn. The barn was sitting like this. Here's the barn and the river, and then it just went down. So the river was, and it's yes, yeah. You'll hear things about the Nooksack that other rivers don't happen. Other rivers will just come up and then they kind of float out over the land, and people get wet. But that's not the Nooksack. It just rips all the land out. So anyway, it's always it can be terrible. Yeah.
Okay, so there are 2 questions for that. So now we're going to move on to middle life.